Hey buddies, SomeNutzGuy here. Hope you're having an awesome day so far. And I have been loving Valheim, absolutely addicted. I've been playing it loads, and I wanted to bring you some of the top tips and tricks for beginners that I've picked up along the way. We're going to be covering just the first few hours of the game, some of the beginners tips and tricks that you guys will want to learn, some of the things that I learned over time that I wish I had knew when I first started for my first few hours. So yeah, let's get into it, and hopefully you learned some helpful stuff. So first things first, I actually wanted to start a brand new world just to kind of go through some of the beginner's tips with you guys in a brand new world. And it comes to tip number one, which is that this game, just like Terraria, allows you to move your character from one server to another free of will with its entire inventory intact. So if you're playing on a server on your own, you just started a server on your own, you've been grinding away, you want to now play with your buddies on a community server, you can actually take that character, all of its inventory, and move from one to the other, and you'll have all of your stuff on there, which is pretty cool. So when you select your character, you select your world, you load in, you'll have all of the stuff that you left any server with your inventory intact. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. So let's get into the actual game tips, shall we? So when you first load into your world, you will spawn in this location. The maps themselves are actually procedurally generated, which is really cool, but there are some set structures around the map which will be for the storyline, etc. But other than that, it's procedurally generated. Very, very cool indeed. Now when you spawn, you'll be, you won't have all this gear that I have, because as I showed you, I've transferred my character across from my other server. And you'll notice that on the left-hand side, you've got a small health bar, 25, and if you start running, you'll see a very small stamina bar. Now, at the beginning, stamina is a real pain in the butt. Seriously, guys. I felt like when I first started, I started running, and within like 7 seconds, I couldn't run anymore. I'm like a Viking. I can't run more than 7 seconds. Come on. But it's because of the way the skill system works in this game. So if you press tab and click this button here, you can see your skills. And if you hover over it, it will show what improving that skill will do for you. As an example, running. If you improve your running skill, your speed and stamina drain while running will be reduced. Your speed will be increased, your stamina drain while running will be reduced. And how you improve your skills is by performing those actions, kind of like Skyrim to a certain degree. So you want to improve your running skills, surprise, surprise, you run around. That's simple. Now, stamina and health are actually linked to the food that you eat. So if you want to improve, have a higher maximum health, have a higher maximum stamina, you can eat some food. And you can see here there's some bars that show sort of like the nutrition that you gain from that food, how much max health you'll be gaining, and that will decrease over time. And you can see that it also has increased my stamina bar a little bit as well. You can eat up to 3 different foods. So you ideally want to have 3 different foods at all times. You see now on the left side, I've now got a much higher maximum health, so that'll heal over time and go back up. And you'll also see that I have a much larger stamina bar here now as well. So making sure that you have 3 different foods on you at all times is very, very key. And obviously the better quality that food, meat being better than fruit and veg as an example, is going to be very key in having you have large amounts of health and large amounts of stamina to play with. Now when you get started here, you'll see this red glowing thing. This means that you can interact with it, and this will register a location there for you. Now you'll also see a crow. I'm not seeing it because I've done it before, I've seen the tutorial, but a crow will be here, and the crow is kind of like the tutorial. You want to listen to what the crow says. My natural instinct was just to ignore it, I'm not a noob. Tutorials are for noobs, but seriously, the crow gives you some useful information. Listen to the crow. When he drops by periodically throughout the game, throughout the first, every time you see something new, basically, he'll drop by, he'll explain what it is and how to use it. Listen to what the crow has to say. It's pretty key. Now, one thing that I really like about this game is that death is actually punishing. A lot of survival games, take Ark as an example, when I get hungry or thirsty, sometimes I'll just eat myself off a cliff, respawn on my bed, have full health, have full thirst, and there's no consequence. In fact, it's a benefit to dying. Which to me doesn't make any sense in a survival game. What I think is really cool about this game is your skills are so important in allowing you to do additional damage, allowing you to run long distances without getting tired, and lots of other elements to the game. However, if you die, you will lose 10% of your accrued levels. So as an example, I have a level 46 running skill. If I die, that will be reduced by 4.6 levels. So you really don't want to die. You're losing all of your grind, losing all of the effort that you put into maxing out these skills, and death is a real punishment. And I think it's fantastic. A lot of survival games don't have that aspect, don't really have that big of a fear of death unless you got a lot of gear on you at the time. But this is a really cool feature, I think. But yeah, you want to avoid death. Run for the hills. So early on, you're going to want to start gathering different types of food. You're going to want to start gathering the resources that you're going to need to progress and build better items. So you're going to need a lot of leather scraps gained from boar and a lot of leather gained from deer. There's also some other reasons you're going to need to hunt some deer early on. I'm going to try and avoid as many spoilers as possible. And to be honest, deer can be very annoying at the beginning. Deer are fast. They don't gas out like you do. They don't run out of stamina. They run at about a max speed. Well, they'll probably run faster than you at the beginning. Now that my skills are leveled up, I can run, a little bit faster than them or as fast as they can. But at the beginning, they can be a real pain in the butt. Do not bother chasing them. You don't have enough stamina. Your run skill isn't fast enough. You're either going to want to try and get a bow as quickly as you can by fighting boar, which don't run away. They will attack you, and it makes it easy for you to kill them and get leather scraps from them, which you can then use to make a bow and try and hunt deer that way. The other thing that you can do is try and sneak up on them. Now I think the hunting in this game is really fun for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you can use your audio. You want to use audio all the time. You can hear different deer make specific sounds. Grey dwarf makes specific sounds, and you can kind of use the sounds around you to know what's nearby. If you're hunting for deer, listen out for that deer sound, and then you know that one's nearby. You can then maybe start to sneak and try and keep up. Now, he just saw me. If a deer looks at you while sneaking, they will see you. But if you sneak behind a deer, and you can walk right up to behind them. Let's see if we can find another one. You can walk right up behind them while sneaking and hit them with melee, and that's probably going to be the most effective way to hunt deer at the beginning, which you'll need to be doing quite quickly. But let's find us a deer and show you how to sneak up on them properly. Okay, here we've got some deer. We got a few deer here. Now what we're going to try and do is sneak up on them and hit them with melee. Imagine for a second you haven't built your bow yet. You're trying to get your deer leather and the other deer parts you're going to need at the early stages of the game. Now take note that stamina does go down while sneaking. You want to make sure you have just enough stamina to get to the deer, and you don't want to gas out like here and then have it turn around and look at you. But you can literally get right up behind them, and as you improve your sneak skill, you will take less stamina while sneaking and be harder to detect as well. So yeah, there we go. We killed our first deer on this server, and we're starting to get the resources that we need to progress. Happy days. So now that we've learned a bit about stats, a little bit about some of the game mechanics and how hunting works, we're definitely going to need to set up ourselves a base. Find an initial location to get started, start saving some more materials, and start progressing. So when you're wandering around, you'll actually find some pre-generated structures that are dilapidated, broken down, as if some other survivor has lived here potentially long ago. And these are very useful. There's a couple of ways that you can utilize these. Now in your tab menu, you can craft some things on your person, some basic things at the beginning. The hammer is what you're going to use to build. So you'll want to build yourself a hammer before you can build anything else. But once you've got this hammer, you can actually interact with previously existing structures. You can either use the repair function, like this to actually repair these structures. I don't have the wood required to do so, but if you have the wood required, you can actually repair these structures and then rebuild the broken parts, and you can take over one of these houses to live in it. However, if you don't like the location, but you may still want to take advantage of the resources that this house has within it, you can actually just quickly use the middle mouse button to delete all of these. Any building, any type of building at all, will require a crafting station. So unlike a lot of games, you need to put down a crafting station first. This crafting station only takes 10 wood. It's very easy to build. So to build anything at all, you need to pop a crafting station down. We're actually going to pop it inside. Now once you've got your crafting station down, you can then interact with the nearby building. So if you pull out your hammer, you can then start to repair these. Or you can just middle mouse button to demolish them and gain the resources for them. So you could literally just go around this and spam click and gain all the spam the middle mouse button and gain all of these resources, or just left click them and you can start to repair them all. Now, crafting stations require a roof to work in terms of actually using the crafting station to craft with. So putting down a crafting station allows you to build within a vicinity of that crafting station, and you can see that vicinity when you're looking to build it. There should be a ring around. You see that ring in the distance that goes red and white if it's ready to build. That is the radius in which you can build. The crafting station will work. Now, if you want to actually craft with your crafting station, you know, craft new tools or repair your items or anything like that, you'll need to satisfy a few conditions. The crafting station needs to have a roof over it. Now, it doesn't need to be a full structure. You know, you can just have literally just a couple of walls and a couple of roofs. So if we have what we have here, we can then we could literally just plop a roof on top of this, and that should, we're just gonna do that for ease sake, and this should now work as a workbench. You could literally, oops, this is my power. You could literally just put 2 walls and then 2 roofs, and you would probably be good to go and use that crafting table. So that's how crafting works. So now that you got yourself set up with a little crafting station, you've built yourself some stoofs, and you are now needing to repair your stoofs. At first, I actually recrafted things a few times because I didn't find the repair function immediately. Perhaps I'm slow, but I think a few other people were a little bit confused as well. Once you figure it out, it's actually quite a cool system. I quite like the repair system. It's really simple. Go to your workbench, and there's a little hammer here. It says repair an item. You click it. It costs nothing. So basically, whenever you're at your crafting station, just repair. You want to repair as frequently as possible. It doesn't cost anything, so why not? Just spam click this, and it'll repair everything in your inventory that needs to be repaired at no cost. Happy days, really nice and easy. Now there's another part which I didn't find out straight away at the beginning, and I think is definitely going to be useful for you guys to know early on. In terms of cooking, you know, cooking is obviously an important part of the game because the better quality food you're eating, the better your health and stamina is going to be. I've now got some mushroom and some berries to eat, but I want my third thing to be some meat, you know, something good quality. So I'm going to need to cook that. Now, cooking, you can need to have a campfire, and you also need to put a cooking station on that campfire. Now, at first, I thought you had 1 cooking station per campfire, and I had like 6 campfires and 6 cooking stations, but you can actually stack your cooking stations all on the same campfire. I think you can get about 4, maybe even 5 if you really squeeze it, and you can then even stack those on top of each other. Well, it seems to be being difficult about it here, but you, if you have some structural support nearby, I guess you can stack them on top. I can show you really quickly in my base on my other server. I have 8 of these all in basically like a one little zone. It's really, really handy, really easy, and I'm going to show you that right now because I look like a fool because these aren't building. Bear with me. So we're back in the main server, and you can see that I've got my 8 cooking stations, 8 all stacked up onto each other here. Very quick to cook a large amount of food, very efficient. Now you'll notice that I actually have like a little bit of a chimney mechanism here. And that's because campfires have a few things which can make them a bit finicky. Firstly, they need to be on ground. They need to be on the ground, so if you want to build it inside, and you kind of may need to have one inside or very close to inside, because a bed requires a campfire to actually work and be valid. So we also need to get rid of smoke. Now, if I were to not have this little chimney set up, the smoke would be coming in, piling in, and you can actually take damage. Maybe if I crouch here and get real close to it, I might start taking some smoked damage. Yep, there we go. So I'm becoming smoked nuts, and that's not good. So your campfires need to have some kind of chimney if they're going to be inside. You can stack them like this. The reason they were breaking on the other server was because of structural stability. Structural stability is quite a big thing in this game. If you want to be building some crazy big structures, or even little ones like this, they need to have the proper amount of support. If you're building something and it's breaking almost immediately, something somewhere isn't supported properly. So you just want to mess around with your support and see if you can get some more structural support and be able to build the things that you want to build. Now that's a lot of the basics that I wish I had known in my first 1 or 2 hours of playing Valheim. I'm definitely going to be doing more of these types of videos, kind of progressing through the game in terms of beginner's tips, then maybe some more advanced tips, then some more advanced tips, then some pro tips along the way. We're also going to be doing specific guides, you know, like cooking guides, farming guides, mining guides, enemy guides, dungeon guides, all kinds, you know, boss guides, all kinds of stuff on Valheim. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm absolutely addicted. I'm going to be playing this game on stream a lot over the next few weeks as well. I stream every day live at 1 o'clock UK time for 4 hours a day or more, and it would be lovely to see some of you guys there. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content like this, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.